Okay, I'm here with Geoff Hughes. Geoff Hughes just gave an amazing talk a couple weekends in a row about mindset, the difference it's made in your life from a kid all the way through an adult, going through successes, adversities. If there was something that you could go back to and tell kids when it comes to mindset, something that could maybe save them pain and adversity that you've gone through and achieved through, what would be that one thing?
Well, depending on the age that we're talking about, most children, until they're 8 years old, they don't even have any cognitive reasoning. The biggest thing that I would relate back to is actually the parents.
Okay, great.
Because ultimately, you're nurturing your children, and they have no identity until the parents, the people, the places, the world around them give that to them. Yeah, so they're assuming actually other people's identity. And in fact, they're picking up the pieces of usually the parts that most people don't like about themselves, because that's the piece that we project onto them, that they assume and take on and create their story. A lot of times we're saying no to our kids, we're telling them what they can't do, we're giving them limitations, but in fact they're actually success breeding machines. And it's those limitations that we're passing on to our children that is reflecting and living out their lives, and then they're having to deconstruct all of that. So my biggest thing for especially for young children is for the parents and seeing what's limiting them, and not for them not sharing that exact same limitations on their own children, so that they assume and then they struggle with the same things.
So just their own awareness and being really aware of what they're saying and the language that they're using.
100%. 100%.
And so this would be similar. What about as far as coaches or professionals in a youth sports space that are impacting kids that have this kind of position of authority with kids? What are some of the things that they can do to make sure that they're setting those kids up for them to be successful?
The biggest thing is nurturing the child and not nurturing the story. What I've seen in a lot of sports is they believe like strong arming and like you got to do it this way, and hey, no, you're not going to do this. Hey, you do this, and if you do this, you do this. And quite honestly, that may be effective to some, but in others, it actually makes it even more of a struggle for them. So, what I suggest when you're dealing with anybody is really finding the points that really inspire them, without actually digging deep and further, pushing into the wounds of the child. Because at the end of the day, inspiring people to do things rather than whipping them into submission to do something is far greater, and especially for the production of them later in the years.
Influence versus control.
Oh yeah.
Long-term versus short-term
100%.
results. What about language? Positive languaging versus negative language, things like that.
Well, the first thing is with any coaches is first understanding the language themselves, because there's language and then there's also your state of being, right? If someone goes, hey, you're a really good kid, immediately at that moment, are they looking at what he's actually saying, or are they looking at the state of being?
Okay.
Right? So your state of being needs to be in line with actually what you're saying to them as well, because both pieces actually get picked up very fast.
So for a coach to come in and have a positive impact on kids, it's more about even just the tactics, where it's how they're showing up, their own mindset and the energy that they're...
Presence. Yes, we are energy beings. And I'm sure you've experienced it before, where someone says something and you're like, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Well, you talk to children, they're even more sensitive to it. They're like, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to sell it to them, you need to be it.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.